Mary Howe, if you are here, come on up. Yes, you can bring others with you. It's you, but if others want to join, come on up.
I didn't know this.
So I am very pleased to be able to honor Mary Howe of the Homeless Youth Alliance today for her 2 decades of working on the ground to empower homeless youth. Mary is not just working with homeless people, she's formerly homeless herself. Mary ran away from home in the mid-90s, arriving in San Francisco at age 14, and found she didn't really trust the services for young people that were available here in the city. She felt like nobody really understood or listened to the needs of homeless youth as defined by homeless youth. Several years later, in 1999, Mary began working at 2 organizations addressing youth homelessness, the Haight-Ashbury Youth Outreach Team and the San Francisco Needle Exchange. And working with homeless youth inspired her and became her life's passion over the last 2 decades. In 2006, Mary took over the 2 organizations and created the Homeless Youth Alliance to promote a grassroots harm reduction approach to addressing youth homelessness. Her drop-in center, medical and mental health services, and harm reduction education has reached thousands of young people experiencing homelessness. And Homeless Youth Alliance, or as they are known in the Haight, their staff, many of whom are here today, mirror the population that they serve, creating close relationships and bonds with homeless youth in the Haight. Not only does Mary work to deliver services to homeless youth, but she and her team also mentor youth to become peer-to-peer counselors, creating meaningful and transformative pathways out of homelessness. Unfortunately, on Christmas 2013, Howe lost its lease on the corner of Haight and Cole, a space that stayed vacant for years after that, a shame and disgrace in the neighborhood. While Howe struggled to operate without an office or a drop-in center. The loss of a space was not just didn't just make it difficult to operate, but it was really an emotional blow to Mary, to the staff of the Homeless Youth Alliance, and to the many homeless youth in the neighborhood who rely so heavily on Howe. As Howe explains on their website, when they had a drop-in center, homeless youth, quote, knew they could cross Howe's threshold and enter a place where their entire selves, not just their physical appearance or housing status, would be taken into account, and where their opinions, pasts, preferences, and experiences were listened to, validated, and valued. To this day, Howe continues to lack a permanent drop-in center in the Haight, in no small part due to the stigma of homelessness and homeless services that persist. Like so many of the people they served, Howe remains without a permanent home, even at a time when the Haight needs a drop-in center for homeless youth more than ever. But despite the lack of permanent space, Mary and the staff of Howe take their services directly to the streets and the parks of the Haight, build meaningful relationships with homeless youth across the neighborhood, distribute snacks and hygiene supplies, and directly assist folks where they are. I'm going to finish up, but I think it is appropriate to quote, rather than continuing to talk about Mary, quote some of the folks who have used Howe's services and who know Mary. One says, quote, anytime I need anything, I find someone on the street who knows where Howe people are. I can always find you when I need to. You guys are doing a pretty damn good job, considering you don't even have a building. Another says, you guys brighten my day whenever I see you, and my dogs love you too. And another says, some other places try to shove their beliefs down our throats, and we have to lie to them about our lives. You guys don't do that. We can be honest with you. So, Mary, thank you for your tireless advocacy, for your decades of service, and perhaps above all, for always keeping it real, whether you're talking with homeless youth, neighbors, or city leaders here at City Hall. Thank you for all of your work.
Was everyone in on this? I really thought Homeless Youth Alliance was getting an award, you guys. Thank you, Dean. I'm not sure if you're really going to go for re-election with this being your first award you're trying to give, but so I'm so shocked right now. Really, thank you for seeing us, for seeing me. I'll make it about me for a minute. Which is really uncomfortable, but rarely am I here invited, or probably without a time limit. Had I known this, I might have written something really compelling, but Corin tells me when I wing it, I do much better anyhow, so. I came to San Francisco as a young runaway, and I wanted something better. I wanted community. I wanted acceptance. And I think that is why many people come here. And I think regardless of how untrue that reality is going to be, people will come here. Young people will come here. And we have to do better. We have to work together and accept each other and do better. I think the divisiveness amongst people in City Hall, against service providers, against us all, is working against the community who needs us to come together most. I think I've never seen things as heartbreaking and combative as they are now on our streets. I think the constant criminalization of people living outdoors is a shame, and I think we can do better. I think we really need to check what kind of San Francisco we want, and we have to ask the people the right questions of how to do that. The answers do not come from this room, you guys. They come from the people having the experience. I think something that's been really beautiful for me as I got to design a service of somewhere I felt like I would have trusted when I was on the street, but why it has been successful is it is not what I think we need anymore. It's about every youth we work with. It's about listening to them sitting on our hiring committees, them giving us feedback, and us designing programs around their needs. And we are not going to give up, no matter how long it takes. I really hope when you give me that little award that we have a wall in a drop-in center to put it on someday. Because I think having a space and a home matters. I think, and I say this a lot, that moment of reprieve that we provided people when we had an indoor space, it's this moment that everyone has, you guys, when you walk into your homes after a long day at work, where you shut the door and you feel safe. People outside never have this moment of safety. This is what drop-in centers do. The beauty of drop-in centers is that it provides that moment, that stability, that then people can see beyond survival mode, that they may see it as possible to make changes that leads them to a better place. And it is because we prioritize relationships, and that is it. That is our priority, is building relationships with people exactly as they are, so that when they are ready, we are there to help them make any change they want to make. And truly, I cannot do this work without the amazing staff and volunteers and community that is filled in this room. I think you should all stand up that work at HYA. Do it. I'm your boss. These amazing people stand with folks no matter what. They stand with them at every critical and non-critical moment in their lives. We are there when people give birth, when people die, when people get married, when people graduate, when people are sentenced, when people come out of being incarcerated, when people get their first housing, maybe even with us now that we run a housing program too. And I hope that I hope that we are always there until there is no need for us to be there. And I don't know, I'm probably just rambling, but thank you so much for making this mistake and honoring me.
Thank you.